Nerds. Just sitting around talking about stuff. The Burg Nerds. This is the Burg Nerds. Just sitting around talking about shit. Yee-hoo!
Hello, friends and fellow nerds. We're here with another action-packed, edge-of-your-seat thrill ride episode of the Burg Nerds, and we're here recording at Moonlite Comics in Frankfort.
Yes!
And we are tickled to death. We got hers in the house. We're giving out free hers today. We're giving out free playing cards, courtesy of Commons for Kids. Commons, the number 4 kids.org if you'd like to go over there and check it out. And go ahead and plug while we're here. We're going to plug Moonlite Comics.
Yes.
They are Jay, what's your Facebook address? Is that facebook.com/Moonlite Comics? Yep. And of course you can guys go like the page and check it out. They keep it well updated with everything they have going on, festivities and whatnot through the weekend, and
They have a calendar up on their Facebook page as well, so you can actually see of all the different events throughout the different months.
That's right. Yeah, they do. And so you go check them out. It's really awesome. You want to keep this stuff going, man, because it's currently getting lost.
Yeah.
And you just want to support comics, man. I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world. Comic books are, I mean, they're kind of my Jesus. So
Support your local comic shop.
Absolutely.
And Moonlight Comics, for those of you around Frankfurt, they're actually located on 127 North, underneath the giant subway. You can't miss it at the intersection across from Big Lots. So
That's on 127 South.
No, this is north.
Is it north?
It's 127 South. Well, apparently
Suck it,
I
Eddie.
have no
Suck
direction. Sorry, my bad. Jay was like, it's south.
across from Big Lots. But if you live in Frankfurt, you know where Moonlight Comics is.
Yes.
If you live in Lawrenceburg, you know where Moonlight Comics is. So. All right, so we're sitting here today with Mr. Jay Kirkman, who is the proprietor, if you will, of the owner and operator, I guess, of Moonlight Comics. How you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing well. Glad to have you guys out here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Thank you for having us. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the store now. I've been shopping here, doing my comic business. I've actually been out of the game a little bit. The economy and Obamacare and everything. Ukraine. Putin is putting the smackdown on my comic reading, as it were. And recently, I just haven't kept up. There's a lot of series that have just gotten away from me that I haven't been able to read. So I canceled my folder, and I've not been back for a few months now. It's been rough, man. You know how it is. It's a drag on everybody, But I noticed I'm seeing a lot of changes in the store here since you've taken ownership. Now, when did you take ownership?
I took over the store last July.
Last July, yeah.
A little less than a year.
And I got to tell you, man, it's looking great in here. It really is looking great. I like a lot of
Thanks.
stuff you've changed. And so tell me what's going on here. What's new with the store here?
Well, I'd say there's what isn't new really. We've kind of attacked it from every angle. My long-standing ambition when I got it was to build the store that I'd always wanted to visit when I was younger. The one place that always jumps out to me as being a great place was Comics up near Sacramento, California, where I grew up.
Now, I've actually been to Sacramento.
Is that
I've
right?
never been to the comic store that you're speaking of, but I got to visit. We got to see old Sacramento. The Old West, whatever's left of it, refurbished Old West kind of. A tourist trap. It was just a gigantic tourist trap. But I ran around a bit in that area for a while. I enjoyed San Jose and, of course, the Bay, San Francisco, and all that. And it's really cool out there. So, sorry to interrupt. I was waxing nostalgia there for a second. I miss the West.
Well, on the other end of the spectrum were the places that when I was growing up also on the East Coast, they weren't really
East Coast.
Connecticut.
Yep.
There were a couple of establishments there that I don't want the store to be like. It's a terrible feeling. For instance, when you go into the card store and you feel like you're being taken.
I think there's nothing better than a comic fan, a fan of this whole universe, to actually own a comic shop. Because I've seen several comic shops where you can just tell that it's not really owned by somebody who embraces the universe. You know what I mean? So that's really good because they get to take a look at all the things they didn't like about comic shops, and of course all the things that they did like about comic shops, and they get to make it. They get to kind of mix and match, and it's kind of like when an actor becomes a director. He's worked for all the directors, so he gets to piece together, what he likes and kind of give the boot to whatever he hates. So it's really good to see somebody who embraces the universe actually owning a comic shop, not just somebody who's like, you have money,
Right.
Which, whatever. But it's pretty cool, man. So what do you got going for the? What do you got in store for the future of the store? You got any big plans or anything like that?
We're going to keep on doing what we've been doing really ever since we took it over in July. We've really hit the ground running. We hear all the time when people come in, especially if they haven't been in here a little while, just how much of a change has been made.
Yeah, vastly.
It sounds like a game store just about all the time here. We have people playing games. They're always welcome. In the past where the first ceremonial action I did, actually, there was a sign on the wall that said, limit 2 hours in the gaming area.
Wow.
And in my, I'm a role player from way back.
I got a governor on it, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, 2 hours in, that's your first random encounter. All right, guys, it's goblins. See you back in a week. I mean, that doesn't really work. So we want to make it sound like a gaming store, and the only way you're going to do that is by building the community and letting people know that they're welcome to come in when we're open. Hang out as long as you like. And we've really seen that come back in dividends, in terms of the atmosphere of the store.
Well, I've noticed that already walking in. It was a lot friendlier than it used to be.
Yeah.
It's like, it used to be stone cold quiet.
Well, and nothing against the people that the previous owners, is it Dave?
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, I think the last time I really shopped here, I think was when Dave owned it, and yeah, he did a great job with it. But it is, I think it's vastly improved. And again, that's no offense against anyone. It's
not
just,
at all.
It has vastly improved, and I mean, it's just leaps and bounds better. It's more of a friendly. It's not just as far as what you're selling and what you're doing, but just the atmosphere seems more inviting. It's not like your stereotypical Korean-owned 7-Eleven where they're, hurry up and buy.
Right.
So it's one of those shows.
That wasn't.
Anyways, one of the things that, for me, coming in here and looking around, one of the things that I've actually been really impressed with is the fact that you've really maximized the space.
Yeah.
I mean, the simple fact, you have all these tables for the gamers and for just so much activity, but yet you have shelves going all the way around of comics, the tables in the middle with the comics. It's not cluttered. You have plenty of room to walk around. I
had no idea that this store was actually this big.
I mean,
it's very well. You have a feng shui. You have a feng shui.
Well, it's really important to do that too. I mean, being completely candid, there's very little that we have here that you can't get cheaper somewhere else online.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's
why
with
would
any comic
come
shop
here?
too.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So we have to make sure that we're not just providing a product. There's an experience,
ambiance.
Absolutely, a way for them to actually hold things, to look at it through their.
And it sounds silly, but that really is the deal. I mean, that's the deal breaker right there. I mean, is when you provide, like you said it yourself. You're providing a service that can be, you can buy everything cheaper online. It's just let's face it. But what you provide here is like an atmosphere, and I think that's
right.
I think that's probably the most important thing, is to be able to walk through the doors, and no matter what your poison is, whether you're a tabletop gamer or a comic reader, whatever it may be, is just to feel like there's somebody there who's who cares and wants to help, and that's a really important factor to have. And I think you're done. I think you've done it very well. You're doing it very well.
Thank you. Yeah, if you don't have an experience to provide, I think in this day and age, the clock is going to be running out for you. So to that end, we maximize the game space that we can have with the tables. We upgraded. And for me, it's always the little things too.
It feels
the picnic style
significantly-
chairs are on the way out. We're getting more deluxe chairs, more seating. People will be
I gotta
here
say,
longer.
it feels significantly less like a dungeon when you come in
Yeah.
here than it did before. Like I believe there was iron bars and water dripping from the ceiling the last time I was in here. So.
Manacles with some residue on
Right.
them, and
Actually, no, that not the last time I was in here. Actually, I think I spoke to you because you sold me a Rorschach action figure. Do you remember that?
Wait,
It's been about a month ago.
was that an Arnold Horseshack action figure?
It was Rorschach. Did I say Horseshack?
Hey, Mr. Carter.
Welcome back, Carter. Rorschach. I think that was the last time. But before that, I think it was pretty. Yeah. It looks great, man. You're doing excellent things with it, and Keep up the good work, definitely.
Thank you.
So the ceiling tile art, I've noticed when I've been sitting here, and there's a lot of good work up there. Do you commission those out, or were they here when you took over, or kind of a both scenario?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the fun mysteries we've had since we've taken over the store is finding out who did all the work that's gone into the love that's shown for this place over the years. I've gone places as random as standing in line at the bank to make a bank deposit, and the teller, she did one of them. When she saw the name on there. So we've been able to find a number of people who've done them, and that's always exciting. We've got some folks who are actually got some panels at home. They're working on them, so we want to keep adding to that. That's a great tradition.
Your Kingpin poster over here was donated by a fine gentleman.
Actually, yes.
Really?
That actually came from me years ago, and I could actually.
I didn't know that, Eddie.
I'm actually looking around. It's like the Lord of the Rings, the Spider-Man, the Aragorn, not the Aragorn stand-up, but a couple of them, and it's like I know where they came from.
No
some of my
kidding.
friends, yeah. I mean, we actually had them. We're like, let's give them to our comic book store because, in all honesty, there's only so long that you can actually hang a banner in your house or your apartment.
You get married, and those things tend to go towards. I have an entire part of a closet it's just like long boxes of comics stacked up and just rolled up posters and just framed, art and stuff like that just has no place in our apartment together now that my girlfriend and I are living together. So is that kind of what happened to you, Eddie?
No, we're actually not really, because
actually, fuck you. I'll never try to relate to you again.
Well, and the only thing I actually did, the only banner I had left after I donated all my movie banners, the only thing I had left was that Taye Diggs movie, Brown Sugar. I had a banner of that.
Why?
Because
why did you have a banner of that?
Because it actually.
I don't see it hanging up in here anywhere. I'm guessing they really didn't want to.
They took it down.
It became available to me. But I actually did have another question for Jay in regards to, because I was thinking about this, going, all right, when you took over Moonlite Comics, all right, you're now the owner. You look around. The challenge. What was the first thing that came to your head when you took this over? And you're like,
what was the first thing where you're like, I have to fix this. I have to do something with this. Like, what was the big thing? Is that what you're going for, Eddie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The very first thing I'd say would be just beginning to put our imprint on it. Like I said earlier about taking the 2-hour limit down. We moved the role playing from the shadowy corner over there to the heart of the store. I'm a role player at heart. It seemed to work pretty well. But the other thing, the real big first initiative we had was to try and identify what the core business of the business was, and it wasn't hard. We wanted to do comics, we wanted to do gaming, and the things that surround that, action figures, magic cards, everything that goes into the gaming store we wanted, and then start looking at what we wanted to do to get the other stuff out of there. Lots of Beanie Babies, lots of NASCAR memorabilia. Those things all have their place.
Just not here.
Not here.
Just not here.
I will say that
I agree.
I contributed to your Beanie Babies. So
really,
I actually had.
I thought some of them looked slightly soiled.
Now
nice.
Hey, that was supposed to be off the air.
I don't know what it is about Eddie, but it seems like every time somebody's on the show, they target Eddie. Like he's like a magnet for her attitude. The NASCAR stuff, man. I noticed back when the store was located over on 60 down on Louisville Road, you would come in. It's supposed to be. The place was called Moonlite Comics, and you would walk in, and it was just like, who drives a NASCAR? Dale,
Jeff Gordon,
Jimmy Johnson.
It was just
we still have
stuff.
one hanging from the ceiling over there.
Burn it. It was NASCAR stuff wall to wall, and I was like, this is unusual. But
there were like model kits,
and the owner had no idea about comics. I was like, did you have this issue? I think it was. This was when I was a kid. I was like, I'm looking for a holograph Spider-Man 2099 or something, whatever it was, and he was just like, I don't know if we have that. I don't know, but we have some NASCAR memorabilia over here that you can buy.
I would say when you focus a little bit too much on the bottom line, when you really make that what you're looking for as a short term as opposed to a long term, there is a susceptibility to like a scope creep. You're starting to chase the next fad. There's stacks of Pogs in the back room. Those won't ever see the light of day out here, But we inherited them.
I remember Pogs. I would actually like to talk to you after the show about those Pogs.
common pogs for kids. Is that the?
Yes.
We can make that work.
We'll unload those on Jerry.
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But really, I mean, that's why a lot of that stuff, and it tends to be kind of the detritus of any store. A lot of it doesn't sell because the whoever was running whatever shop it is chases the fat a little too deep, misreads the tides. They're left with a bunch of inventory. That stuff tends to accumulate and it kind of calcifies in the store.
I don't think you could give away Pogs if you taped $1 bill to each one.
I don't think most people would know what they even are anymore.
I actually do remember Pogs.
I remember 'em.
I used to have just big plastic tubes of them, and I think I actually played the game once. Like I had Pogs for years, and we would just trade them like trading cards or whatever. And I think I maybe have played the game like just once or something. Like I don't really remember even how to play it. I think I played it once, but it was mostly we just used them like trading cards. You would just.
Do you have any Alf Pogs back there? Remember Alf?
Oh boy,
He's back.
Alf
Pog form.
But the question is, did Alf ever really leave?
No, I think in all honesty nowadays Pogs are actually more used as coasters for shot glasses.
They're not big.
There you
Oh,
go.
shot glass.
Shot
Okay.
glass.
I was like, they're not big enough for regular.
You'll say, "Let me finish because I got this."
Well, Slammer's big enough for a highball glass.
So there you go. You can remark it. So
Yeah, it's
for
a
like,
renaissance of pods.
We
right
have-
here at Moonlight Comics.
for 25 cents, or like 5 for $1.
Penny.
I like
go
your
that
marketing strategy. We'll go with that.
I'm smart.
See?
I still feel like no one is going to buy. You could have a box of them. The Silent Assassin is back, by the way. I wanted to comment on this because I got tickled. Like we're sitting here in the middle of the shop and painting you some atmosphere. We're sitting around in the middle of the shop and we're speaking with the owner and like pacing back and forth behind him is his number one, as it were. It's like the Joe Pesci to Robert De Niro in Casino. Like he's like pacing around and. He's like, I'm here, man. He's got his arms folded, and he hasn't said a word. He's just pacing back and forth. So is he like your bodyguard or whatever? Like he's here in case stuff gets a little too real, or
Ivan, he's our number 2.
Oh, okay.
He's our number 2. He's our Yu-Gi-Oh specialist for one,
Oh, okay.
and he's a great weekend help. We really appreciate having him here.
And he has I like that he has a Deadpool pin that's like helping hold on his name tag.
I don't like his Deadpool tune. I'm gonna go ahead and tell him I don't like it.
That's
We
a
were just
fight.
talking about how much we didn't like Deadpool, and I don't know. I don't want to even launch into that. Like that's way too much. I'm liable to flip this table.
And so who's this gentleman over here next to Ivan?
That's
Yeah, let's
Josh.
talk a little bit about the help here. Who's
Yes.
this guy here?
Josh is our unpaid intern. It's an entirely voluntary position. I'm not sure what possessed him to take it, but
You got a bag of chips out of it.
He
today.
loves comics and cards, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
yeah, he helped staff the when we were at the Lexington Comic Con this past
Okay.
con. He did that the whole time. Now, granted, he did it just so he could be closer to William Shatner, and that didn't go so well. But
So like, was he like in the bushes? Like, there's Mr. Shatner.
He got shot down by the shaft.
So who else we got here? I see somebody over here behind you.
there's several somebodies over here. This is my wife, Jimmy,
Hello.
and
Hello.
our twins here. This is Lorcan and Declan.
Those are two very cool names, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, one of the things we also want to foster here is kind of a family atmosphere, and the idea of kids running around and being welcome here. It's this without kids coming into the industry and without them looking at comics, which
It
for
can't
us
grow.
it's modern mythology. Yeah, it can't
Can't
grow.
grow. Yeah.
I mean, we'd be sitting on a desert island, so
Mhm.
we're very excited to make this a real family first kind of atmosphere. This is Derek McElroy. He's one of our regulars as well, who's throwing in to help out with baby duties.
All right.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, man, it's a real
Awesome.
family atmosphere. I like that. It's very inviting,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's important. That's an important thing. We discussed that, but
So Jay, why don't you throw out your all's address, your all's Facebook page, like
yeah, free to promote there. Go
Yes.
ahead, man.
Yeah, sure.
go for it.
So again, it's Moonlight Comics, 1100 US 127 South.
South, Eddie, South.
Say South, not North, South. But yes, underneath under Subway, across from Big Lots and Red Dot and so on.
I hear at Big Lots you can find Hers brand.
God,
it is a
Hers
quality
brand snack
chip
food.
at
It
a
is.
reasonable price.
It
Yes.
very much is.
we've been
So,
giving them away. And
So go on.
We are at Moonlight Comics on Facebook. We have a very active social media presence there. So we're always updating what's going on. You mentioned the calendar earlier, Eddie. We keep that updated as well. We have events pretty much going on here every day that we're open. Some of the bigger ones we've got coming up on the 3rd of May. It's right around the corner. That's Free Comic Book Day. That's a very big one here.
Everyone loves Free Comic Book Day.
Absolutely.
I missed out last year, but to 2012, I think I cleaned up on actually some good stuff. I think even a couple of the series that I picked up on Free Comic Book Day, I kind of got turned on to them and actually started reading them. So if for nothing else, Free Comic Day it's May
the 3rd. First
It's
Saturday in May.
It's a different it's a different day every year.
Yes.
Do you guys have a cosplay day? That might be something.
We don't have a cosplay day, but we do a monthly LARP, live action role play. So
nice. Let's talk a little bit about that, man. That's a world that I know nothing about.
Sure.
Live action role play, other than what I've had a chuckle at on YouTube. I really don't know much about live action role play.
You should watch the documentary Darkon.
Should I?
Yep, it's really good. It's about live action role play. It's actually pretty good.
Is it on Netflix?
It used to be.
I think it still is.
Darkon? Yeah, I like it.
I'll have to check that out. So what do you guys do here? You actually have live action role playing, like you're doing like battles and stuff inside the store after hours, or?
Yep, we closed out at close of business on Saturday. We open it up for our once a month LARP. It's hosted by William Thrasher, who's with Kettle of Fish Productions.
Okay.
We met him at one of our Kentucky Creator Expos. It was last October. He's done some writing for Fantasy Flight for Warhammer 40,000.
Okay.
So he was out in that capacity. In terms of, he was like, well, if you ever want to host one of these here or give it a shot. I'd never done it before, so I was also in the dark.
I've looked into it. It seems fun.
It was. So. I'll be candid. It took me about 15 minutes to get the inhibitions aside, not feel completely ridiculous. I had the time of my life. It was a blast, and I think
that's what holds me back from it. It looks like a blast, but I don't know if I can get around my own head long enough.
See, at first I was like, then I watched Darkon when I was done. I was like, that looks really fun, and I started looking to see if there are any around Kentucky, and it was all vampires.
No, we've the first one that we did was a Warhammer 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
The one we did last month was based on feudal Japanese mythology, and the one that we're doing tonight here is basically Cthulhu meets the Wild West.
Lovecraft. That's pretty cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like
definitely,
that.
Yeah.
But once you get past that first hurdle, for me it was for the first one that I did, I was a cult leader by night, opera singer by day. And,
naturally.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. You can hear my voice already. And the unpaid intern was the governor, who within just the first few actions said, "Well, we have some visitors. Opera singer, sing for me." And I thought to myself, we're all rookies here, with the exception of one or two guys that came and they were in full costume. The rest of us were all just people here.
So it was go time. It was do or die. Wasn't it?
If I chumped out and didn't make an opera sing go of it, I figured the rest would follow. So yeah, I sang.
Oh,
and after
right.
that, I turned bright red. But I had after that it was a blast, and so we've been doing it once a month now, and we're going to keep on doing it. We'll
awesome.
keep changing it around.
Well, that's wonderful, man. It's and we're having a blast here so far. It's,
Thanks.
Hanging out and eating some hers and just chit chatting with everybody, and it's a whole lot of fun. Jay, it's Kirkman. Kirkman's your last name, is that right?
That's right.
Is there any relation to the famous Kirkman? I bet you've never heard that question before, have you?
Well, it's one of those funny little coincidences. There's no relation directly. My brother is Robert Kirkman, my younger brother. So there were several jokes when we took over the store to have a signing by Robert Kirkman. And I figured that wouldn't be the best way to introduce myself.
You're not misleading people.
Well,
not at all.
It depends on how many rocks it is you're wanting through the window.
Right.
Not a matter of if you want rocks through the front window.
But he's gotten, my brother has gotten the occasional bit of love and or hate mail for Kirkman, because they look, there's a Robert Kirkman in Kentucky, gotta be our guy.
Yeah,
send him off something.
I love it.
So your brother's getting hate mail at his home?
He got some at his home, yeah.
Wow.
So can you actually tell? Do you remember any of the things that some people have said?
The one that I remember, it was the first time I ever saw something like this from him. He's like, I don't know what this is. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see what's going on here. But it was something about the role of women in the Walking Dead universe as as it was kind of a sexist subjugation. That was the agenda. Although I think that property really does have a lot of strong female leads. So I'd like to think in the passage of time, those concerns have been addressed. I mean, Michonne is one of the most popular characters from it. You don't get any stronger than that. So
I can't
That is a good point,
I can't imagine just the amount of awkwardness of getting this letter about that subject, and you're like, okay, I don't remember. Oh, okay, I guess. Should I write them back?
Honey, apparently I
even know
wrote
what
a
it
comic
was.
book series in my sleep.
yeah,
I don't remember writing this. Well,
we're cashing those checks.
Oh,
It's only cheating if you get caught.
That's right.
that's the only time it's fun to be Robert Kirkman is when you get the money that accompanies
wait.
being Robert Kirkman.
So is this how the comic book shop is being funded? You've exposed it.
Uh-oh.
The news is out.
Burg Nerds exclusive.
All right, Manny. Well, Jay, again, man, thank you so much for having
Sure,
us here.
thank you.
We're having a blast, and again, you guys come check out Moonlite Comics and come see Jay and come enjoy the atmosphere. If tabletop's your thing, or comics your thing, toys your thing, just whatever, man. Just to hang out with cool people is your thing. Then come on down and see us here at Moonlite Comics. All right, nerds. It looks like we're back here with Nate and JP, and they're gonna take a minute to talk with us here at the Moonlight sessions. I guess we're now going to be calling it.
Nice.
And they're going to be talking to us and giving us kind of an inkling, kind of an extra special glimpse into a world that I actually know nothing about. I am virginal when it comes to many things. I don't know the first thing about tabletop gaming. I played some Dungeons and Dragons when I was a teenager, but I lost interest in it when I quit smoking weed. I don't know if there's a correlation there or not, but it seems like I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about it. So these guys they're gonna step up here and they're gonna grab a microphone. And they're gonna talk a little bit about it with us. What do you guys want to go ahead and take it away?
Sure. I'm JP Chaplow. I'm one of the writers for the Neo Exodus setting and the Legacies organized play campaign.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about that. And again, and you got to kind of keep in mind that you're speaking to. I mean, not just me. I think we all really don't know too much about tabletop gaming. It's it's all the same cake. We just happen to be a different slice. So that's a nice way to put it, I guess. But if you want to,
all right. Well, I mean, obviously, one of the things about tabletop gaming is that it gets together. Obviously, gaming, the particular part that I'm mostly interested in and do most of the time is the actual tabletop role playing.
Okay.
So you said you played D&D before, so
yeah.
I mean, I never smoked weed, so
so there is no correlation, Jeremy.
Nope.
So in all honesty, that's probably the reason why you've become really good at it and have kept up with it.
I don't know what it is about you, Eddie, but it seems like this would definitely be something that you know something. You know anything about tabletop gaming?
In all honesty, I really had a huge interest in it, but I was really not good at it at all. And so it was like when I was younger, probably actually not really younger, but I mean like when I was towards the latter years of like high school and like when I was about 20 and 21, things like that. I really tried to get into it, and I just for some reason I sucked so bad. And I mean I loved it though because I mean you have the big map and everything, and everyone's like marking and
smoking weed.
No, because that's something I didn't do either. So
I'm sorry, I thought they just went together.
It was so engaging, but it killed me because I sucked at it so bad. But there really wasn't much support for around me to be able to keep going.
He didn't have a support system.
I didn't. And I sucked so bad, and I needed one.
What about you, Jordan? I mean, I know you're into stuff that I don't really know a whole lot about. Like
the only thing I know of is Warhammer, I believe, tabletop. I just never got into it.
It's more of a miniatures game.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's another one of my flaws. So
they kind of go hand in hand.
So what is the actual game you guys are playing over there today?
Today we're playing the Neo Exodus Legacies. It's the organized play. So basically, organized play. Those who are familiar with like Magic: The Gathering,
sure.
It's a worldwide campaign, and I say that because we have a few players in Canada and a few players in Europe.
Yeah.
We're starting to play.
Right.
Basically, we run the adventures, and players what the players do we take into account when we write the sequels.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nate here is one of the Kentucky leaders for Pathfinder Society. So, I mean,
the big wig.
Well, not the big one. That would be Chad. He's not here today. I just kind of help organize the Frankfort and Lexington area for organized play.
Okay.
Pathfinder is one of the big RPGs or role playing games on the market right now.
So tell us a little bit about Pathfinder. That's I'm seeing that word's been thrown around a lot today, and again, it's just something I don't know much
Pathfinder
about.
is a unique world for role playing. They took many years ago, Dungeons and Dragons did an open game license, and they the company Pazzo took that and ran with it and created their own world.
So you got the inside knowledge on the whole thing, the behind the scenes stuff.
I've just been a player for a long time.
Okay.
And you just kind of picked that stuff up.
Yeah.
And what JP did was take the core rules for Pathfinder and create his own unique world, which is Neo Exodus, and that's what we were playing today.
Okay, cool. Okay.
We do support both Neo Exodus and Pathfinder Society.
So that's kind of your personal brainchild. Sorry to.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's all you, right? That's all your thing.
I can't say it's all me, but I have some really good brains that were.
You're like famous, bro.
Yeah, I am. So humble. I like that.
He's a humble one, this guy. Well, that's pretty cool, man. So, what's in the future here? What do you got planned? You got anything big planned in the whole in the tabletop world there? Or?
Well, obviously this year the big news is the 5th edition of D&D that's coming out.
I missed the email. I didn't get it.
If you're anywhere in the gaming world, you've heard about it. Now I will have to say it's for the community as a whole. There's a very kind of a mixed reaction. So it's kind of either people really love what they're doing with it, or they really hate what they're doing with it.
Sure.
The third group will be people who either don't want to know about it or are happy with Pathfinder. That's really the big news. For me with First One Entertainments, which is my small publishing company.
Yeah, I was gonna say, by all means, if you have something you guys would like to plug, feel free, throw it out there, man. Shamelessly plug the shit out of it. Go right ahead, sir. You have the floor.
FOElegacies is .com.
Okay, FOElegacies.com.
Yep, that's First One Entertainment. That's my little company that produces the adventures for Neo Exodus.
Okay.
The Neo Exodus Legacies campaign. This year for us is going to be huge. We're going to be at all 3 of the biggest conventions. So we're going to be at PaizoCon, we're going to be at Origins, we're going to be at Gen Con.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
nice.
Those are pretty big deals. Some pretty big cons. Yeah.
Those are huge, and people who will participate, those events will be tabulated for the campaign. So you will, if you play the table, you will change the world. So
that's a lot to put on someone's shoulders, sir.
It is, but it's a good draw for players.
Sure.
And for me as a writer, it keeps me on my toes, so I can't just assume that this is what people are going to decide. I can't. So for me, it's always it's very exciting to be able to really push this new stuff and then go, oh, really? Like one we had last week at Conglomeration was the finale for the last time you could get in one of the premiere events, and let's just say that I expected a completely different result. It was a lot of fun.
So what you said something went wrong with it? Like you just.
Well, it's one of the things is when we write our adventures that players who play the game have certain choices that they must make, and we can kind of guess early on. Well, we think they're going to take A or B. However, my experience is that C, D, or F are much more likely. Really? What? Well, okay. I mean, it's and
that's got to be that's got to be very involved writing too, right? I mean, that's a lot of that. Kind of brings to mind like Indigo Prophecy script, or like a script to like Heavy Rain, where it's all based in like choices made by the individual. So that kind of.
It's very similar.
I mean, that's a lot of writing. That's very involved.
It's nice though that the users can shape the world around them. Though that's great.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really for the case of Legacies, it's one of since we're much smaller than Pathfinder Society, we can be more reactive. That's one of our it's one of our strengths. If we ever get so big, then it's not we can't be as reactive. But that's what we can do it now. So that's why we're like, hey, let's we sell it as such, and I tell you, I'm not going to decide what's going to be the decision.
Okay.
So
Right on, man.
That's
So
awesome.
let me ask you, like, is the gaming that you're doing here and stuff, is it open forum, or is it open for anybody who's interested to come along and kind of jump in, test the waters, or?
Yeah, and we not only that, we do a lot of beginners games.
Okay.
So if you've never played and it's something you're interested in, definitely come on down.
That's really cool. I think it's one of those many things, like basically like any other activity. A lot of people show interest and just don't know. They don't know how to hook it up. They don't know how to jump in and get their feet wet with it.
And this is just like when you said when you were younger and you didn't have any outlet to really try. This is a good way for people to try and to reach out to more rural communities that don't have a comic shop right there.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
if the town next door 5 miles is doing it, well, that's not so bad. You can go check it out.
Sure, yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Because anything, just like any kind of gaming, video gaming, role playing, miniatures gaming, it's all big money investment. So a lot of times you do want to try it out before you expend, put $50 into a rule book.
Well, that's really
Or
cool,
put
man. You hear that,
$50 or
guys?
$60
Anybody's interested in joining Mr. Nate and JP here to do some tabletop gaming, man? They do have what'd you call it? Beginners games?
Well, we run a lot of beginners games. Like there'll be a couple people sitting down for the next game that have never played.
Okay.
So and they'll get a chance to try it out, see if they like it.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. You guys have anything else you want to throw out there? Any other?
I actually want to throw something out here.
Go for it, Eddie.
My quick question is, what got you guys into it? What was the moment that it just clicked with you? This is what I want to do, because you guys are so knowledgeable in this.
And was pot involved?
And you guys, have a lot of excitement behind it. And I could feel the excitement when you guys talk about it. So, what was it that got you all interested? And then what helped you just take off with it? Come on, you're publishing and you're leading
man,
groups.
Right?
You know what I mean? So tell us.
For me, I was 8 years old, and my parents were cool. They bought us comic books.
Yeah.
Taught us to read from mythology books, and we're really really willing to broaden our horizons. And so I'd have to say it was probably my parents' influence on the fantasy world. When I was 8, my brother got his first Dungeons and Dragons book. And of course, we didn't play it nearly by the rules it should have been. But it was fun.
Yeah.
And so from that age on, I've just really been.
Now, were you the kid that made up the own rules, and if people didn't play by your
every kid
insane
rules,
you had to
kick made up his own rules?
Oh yeah,
popping out.
Oh yeah. In my case, it was similar to Nate. I've always been interested in comic books. I'm a big X-Men fan forever.
Ooh,
I it was almost like something that was destined to happen. And that day where my cousin gave me a book, a fighting fantasy book, choose your own adventure book.
Oh yeah.
That was it. The deal was done.
You were hooked, huh?
Sure.
I was hooked. Give me more, hook it up to my vein type of scenario.
Whoa.
My
Slow
parents,
down, Pilgrim.
Oh, my parents really hated these games, but
really, they didn't really support the whole thing.
No, not really. To this day, it's next weekend they're in town, so I'm not gaming. I'm not participating in anything.
See, I started out with comics at a very young age, and while my parents they were happy that I was reading, comic books cost money. Yeah. So they, as far as support, they were like, "We're glad you're reading, but no, I'm not taking you to buy comic books. Come on now."
Well, yeah, that's definitely one thing. And then I guess funny story. I got my first Dungeons and Dragons book when a friend of mine got a book by his cousin, and he walked up to me and he says, "Hey, you speak English. Teach me how to play this."
Oh wow!
No.
So yeah,
he didn't know how to speak English, and that's how.
Full disclosure, it was in Canada, and I'm Canadian.
So he was like he was French Canadian.
I was about to say half the people in Kentucky can't speak English.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a fair assessment.
We do our best.
Apply water to burned area.
I, for one, wish to say I support my NSA masters.
Okay, yeah,
nice. Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Just,
So wait a minute. Tell me more about this guy that didn't speak English. Did he learn English from playing tabletop games, or playing role playing games?
No, he's I haven't seen him in over.
For the sake of the story, can we say that that's how he learned?
For the sake of the story, I kind of made up my own rules and kind of taught him my own version of the rules.
You always won. You were like, no, you can't do that because the rule book dictates. The rule book in my head dictates that you're not allowed to beat me.
I will sadly say that I've told some people that specific answer.
That's going right back to King Hippo getting up and
Yeah.
Mario jumping over the flagpole.
Yeah.
With Game Genie, Mario can jump over the flagpole.
Why don't you shut up, Eddie? So, guys, thank you for taking time out of your game to come over here and talk to us. JP and Nate, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Hell, take a bag of hers with you.
Yeah, seriously.
Grab you a bag of hers. We are promotional partners with Hers Brand Snack Foods. So
All right. No
We get a-
problem. I will not turn down snacks.
There you go.
We get a free shipment every month.
That's
We
a,
are
that's a smart
gamers.
man
That's
there.
right.
That's right.
It goes with the territory.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for
Thanks,
coming
everybody.
on.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
All right, now we're sitting here with Mr. and it is officially Mr. Ivan and his wonderful locks of gold. He's decided to join us. Ivan is an employee here at Moonlite Comics. Ivan, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Probably could have slept better for this, but I'm living.
Had no idea we were going to be here, or
No.
yeah, we didn't either.
We're like ninjas. We just showed up.
Worse yet, we did know we were going to be here, and we still took no preemptive measures. None of us slept well. We didn't prepare any material, but hey, what are you going to do? We're a fly by the seat of the pants kind of group, and
Whatever works.
Lee's on Facebook on his phone. He don't even give a shit right now.
Let's say Ivan kind of puts me in mind of Leon from Resident Evil.
It's
All
the
right.
hair.
Yeah,
I'll go with that.
He's got the hair. I mean, Ivan, you're about like what? Just for because people at home can't really like see you.
Are you sure?
You're about like what 6'4", about
Chiseled
180.
features.
180. I mean, I don't see why you're working at a comic book store. You're a handsome gentleman.
I'm trying to decide whether or not to turn gay for this young man.
I mean, seriously.
You
so
wouldn't be the first.
I mean, so guys, get on Google and look up Leon from Resident Evil, dead ringer to Ivan.
Yeah.
I mean, so ladies, you better start lining up, coming on down to Moonlight to line up to talk to Ivan over here.
So, Ivan, do you actually carry a stick around with you to beat away all the women that chase you down every single day?
No, I actually don't need that.
Do you have one of those old tickets that you used to see in the Kmart layaway section?
Now serving.
Yeah, take a number, get in line. So, Ivan, aside from being our special handler for the day and the silent assassin bodyguard for Mr. Jay Kirkman, what else are you into, buddy? We talked a little bit about comics earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you reading currently?
I'm currently reading the Deadpool series. Harley
Why?
Quinn.
Why would you do that?
Read good comics?
Sell me.
You're right.
Sell me on it.
Sell you on Deadpool.
Yeah, sell me on Deadpool right now.
Does he install in ground or overground?
Tell us right now. Tell me why I should
It's a
read
pull
Deadpool.
joke.
Yes, I get it.
Because one of us here is actually a Deadpool fan. Eddie is a Deadpool fan.
Good. And one of you is
Yeah.
decent.
Lee is not a Deadpool fan. Lee, you're not a Deadpool fan, right?
Not at all.
You're wearing red.
And Jordan is not a Deadpool fan. He's a Louisville fan. He's not really a Deadpool. Jordan is not a Deadpool fan either.
I'm ambivalent. Not really.
What did we tell you about using big words on this
Yeah,
show?
that was a big word, man.
What, a word with more than 3 syllables doesn't work? Doesn't work in Kentucky?
No, not really.
No.
Okay.
I had to learn that too.
Ivan, sell me on Deadpool, man. What is it you like about What is it that everyone likes about Deadpool? Because I'm failing to see it.
Well, the popular crowd likes him now because of the Daniel.
Because of the internet?
Yeah, because of the Daniel Way run.
Uh-huh.
He took out all the backstory and all that and made him a straight train of jokes.
Train
That's
of
it.
jokes, yeah.
Everybody just really liked how funny he was.
So he's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of comics. Like it's just a long, incessant line of one-liners.
Yeah, but surprisingly, he's better at speaking English.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
That's a little racist.
I thought it was pretty
Is that
good.
it? I mean, you got to sell me. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but I kind of am because it's funny when we do that to people.
Yeah, apparently.
So, tell me why I should read Deadpool.
Well,
What do you like about it? Tell me, story arcs, what's going on?
Well, I started reading him because of the Kelly run, his first original run,
Uh-huh.
where he was partially a smartass and he was sarcastic, as am I. And that's probably what drew me
What?
to it. He was a parody of Deathstroke, so that was funny enough.
Okay.
And he actually had a deep personal backstory,
Right.
which has kind of gone by the side of the road now, thanks to Way.
Now, something I learned is a stand-up comedian that I really enjoy, Brian Posehn, is writing on Deadpool. Is that right?
Yeah, you mean the thing I told you before we started recording?
Yeah, that's exactly.
But yeah, I'm actually really enjoying his run.
Okay, this here is a mixing board, Ivan. So at any point that you decide to give me shit on my show, see this slider right here? This is your channel. This can go all the way down.
All right.
But then again, it doesn't make it a very interesting show if the guy we're interviewing his mic's turned off.
Yeah, that can get boring.
So he's just a jackass. So that's pretty much why you like the comic.
Yeah, not so much as he is now.
Okay.
It was like just
so
enough.
What's Posehn doing with him?
He's kind of bringing him back because he goes into his own mind now and he does stuff. So he's kind of getting the backstory back. I don't know if they've touched on the original origin of him as much, but he's a lot less of just straight jokes.
Okay.
And the jokes now are better than when Way did it. Way just did with whatever. That's where the chimichanga thing came from, which is kind of overdone.
I'm not familiar with that. Explain the chimichanga thing.
I've heard about this.
The chimichanga fiasco.
Deadpool is supposed to be in love with chimichangas, just because it's a funny word. But he never actually eats them. He's actually said that he hates them. He just loves saying the word chimichanga.
Well, I can't wait to read this book. I'll tell you what. You've completely sold me, Ivan.
Yeah. So essentially, it's supposed to be funny because they told you it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's how Way did it.
Okay.
It seems though that the first run, what got you hooked, and now with Posehn taking over, it seems like if anybody out there is interested in getting into Deadpool or just opening up and going into that world, those would be the ones. It seems like to skip that middle part.
Yeah,
because
I'd start with Kelly if you can. Those are a little bit harder to find. If you can find them online, do it. Maybe read some of the Way just so you can see what happened to him, and then skip to Posehn.
Okay.
Or any of the more modern ones now, actually, because there's some better writers, like they did Night of the Living Deadpool. That wasn't Posehn, but it was still really good.
Okay.
Oh, I saw that actually back on the back
If
wall.
I were going to read any of them, it would be one called Night of the Living Deadpool.
It was really good. It's a
if
four-part
you were
series.
ever going to sell me, that sentence was the one that sold me on it.
Hey, Jeremy, just to let you know they have it on the back shelf
It's
over
right
there.
back there. I can see it from here.
I'll be glad to go pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Hey,
are we doing that?
I don't.
It's that kind of show now. That's what it's deteriorated to.
So what else, Ivan? Are you reading anything else currently right now?
Harley Quinn. She's one of my favorite Batman villains.
Really?
I've dated some Harley Quinns in my life. Let me tell you, it's interesting.
My friend Abra does a really good Harley Quinn cosplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see that. Do you have photos?
No
pictures, or it didn't happen.
They're online.
They're online.
They're online.
Pixar, get the fuck out.
No, she does a really good impression. She does one of the best. But she does like the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the better Harley Quinn.
Yeah, so that's the one she does.
Which Harley Quinn does she do? Does she do like the Jester outfit Harley Quinn, or like the rogue hardcore Harley Quinn?
She does like the one from Batman animated series.
I gotta be honest with you, man. When I go Harley Quinn, I've seen some of the art done with her where she's just in a dirty white like tank top and she looks like a junkie. You know what she looks even more vapid and dysfunctional.
Well, there's that really good painting of her and the Joker behind her in like the tux, and that's, I don't know, I really like.
I think I've seen that actually.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Anything else, Ivan?
Like that I'm reading?
Yeah, as far as you're currently reading, man. This is
Okay, yeah, I'm also reading Talon. It's about to end actually.
Tell me what that's about.
It's in the Batman universe. Talon are a special league of assassins for the Court of Owls, which have always existed apparently in the Batman universe, and it's about one guy that broke away, and now they're trying to get him back, so he's just fighting back against it to try to destroy the entire Court of Owls, which Batman has never been able to do.
That actually sounds pretty interesting.
I do like the way that sounds. So
what actually drew me into it was I've been looking for a superhero that doesn't have superpowers. I prefer those, like Batman. I'm not too big into Daredevil, but he's an escape artist.
Nobody is.
Not even Daredevil's into Daredevil.
So, Ivan, when you're not reading Deadpool and wooing the women with your locks of gold, what is it you like to do with your free time? Do you enjoy long walks on the beach?
If I didn't live in Kentucky, probably.
Probably, if you weren't in a landlocked state.
There's that awesome beach in Boonesboro.
Oh, I've actually... here's a little true story from you. I actually went to Boonesboro Beach. We went there one time as kids and played on the beach and whatnot.
We played with pull tabs from old beers.
Jeremy had his power glove and hit his sister in the face.
I actually, and ladies at home listening to this, because let's face it, it's nothing but women that listen to the show.
Obviously.
It's definitely
That's demographic.
Yeah,
It's just dripping.
Yeah. We have a higher female demographic than Twilight. But,
and especially now with Ivan jumping on, it's just going to boost it.
You're welcome.
It really is.
You're
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm at Boonesboro Beach as a kid, and what I did was I didn't wear a shirt underneath of my.
Looked great.
Fuck you, Ivan. Underneath of my football, I had a football jersey on, so I wound up getting badly sunburned. And I wake up the next day and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and it's just thousands and thousands of red dots all over my upper body.
Oh, it's one of those pinhole jerseys. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was impressive. But if you ever have a chance to actually go and visit Boonesboro Beach,
don't
throw yourself off a cliff. It's actually fairly nice, really, if you can get past the used syringes and used condoms laying on the beach, beer cans, like in beer cans that just say beer on them. They don't like that's how old they are. It's like an episode of The Simpsons or something. Like what was that? What was the beer on there called? Duff. Yeah, it's like cans of Duff laying around and stuff.
Gosh.
What else you into, Ivan?
I play the card game Yu-Gi-Oh! And I do Pathfinder.
Cool.
Okay, so how long you been doing Pathfinder for?
Let's see. 4 years now.
Really?
I started my senior year of high school.
So what's your favorite part about Pathfinder? What is it like the thing that when you get into the game, like what is your big contribution?
Changes every game.
Yeah, because we just met a guy who actually writes.
Yeah. The guy
so what are you doing with your life, Ivan? How are you contributing to the Pathfinder world?
Nope, not at all. I'm just enjoying it.
But what's your thing though? What's your favorite thing about Pathfinder? Like, what really just gets you going before a game?
Gets me going.
This is getting a little personal.
Okay, well, what do you enjoy about Pathfinder?
What really revs your engine?
Let me just point out, we have a customer over here who he's trying not to listen in. He's leaving.
Sir, would you like to come over and have a seat and join us and talk with us here? We nerds of all kinds, sir. We're all one big cake. We're different slices. Grab you a microphone.
Oh, that's a nerd of a different color.
Yeah.
So,
it's a Wizard of Oz joke. Okay.
So, Ivan, talk about what you enjoy
Thank you
about
for
Pathfinder.
I just like that I can't actually go punch dragons in real life, and I can do that in there.
There you go.
I feel like if you ever saw a real dragon, it would, first of all, it would be mesmerized by your beautiful locks of gold. It wouldn't. I don't think it would have time to fight back. Would it breathe fire at you? I don't think so.
What color dragon is it?
Yeah, I don't think
Only
you're going to
red.
punch a dragon. I really
But
don't.
speak in the voice of Benedict Cumberbatch.
It better.
Yeah.
Now, and sir, what's your name? Join us.
My name's Kane.
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 And we're here, man. We're here with this podcast. I don't know if you know what's going on today, but we're just grabbing random customers and pulling them in to talk with us, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What turns your what revs your engine as far as the goings on.
What's your choice of aphrodisiac?
My choice of aphrodisiac is anything that Mike Mignola does, pretty much. So, yeah.
Mike Mignola, yeah. Why do I know that name? What's
Hellboy?
Hellboy, yes,
Yeah.
of course.
So.
I there's a big library of writers and artists in my head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I forget. Yeah, Hellboy. You're a big Hellboy fan.
Oh, huge Hellboy fan.
Now, what did you think of the films? Were you a fan of the films?
Oh well, I was a fan of the first film. Mike Mignola kind of had more input.
Yeah, he was noting that a lot. I noticed. Yeah, you could see a lot of the stuff from the comics as well.
I mean, some of it was pulled straight from the comics. I mean, he did the production artwork, or well, some of the production artwork for Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes. Well, he was an art consultant. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
So that kind of dark gothic sensibility just permeates pretty much everything. Even the Disney version of Atlantis, he did that. Sure. So, yeah,
didn't know that.
That's very cool. Yeah. So you weren't a big fan of the Golden Army?
Not so much. I mean, it was good for what it was. And anything with Ron Perlman and red makeup is going to be cool.
See, I've been ostracized. I've been ostracized a lot for. If you'll remember, Golden Army came out at the same time as the Dark Knight.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was Dark Knight this and Dark Knight that. excuse me, and Golden Army didn't get a lot of play,
right?
And I still get ostracized for this statement, but as far as what makes a comic book movie, Golden Army was twice the comic book movie that Dark Knight was. Now, Heath Ledger was an amazing Joker. No one disagrees with that at all. It's amazing, but it takes more than just one good villain to make a good comic book movie.
Absolutely.
Dark Knight was it was a directorial masterpiece. It was wonderful, but I could never get my head around Christian Bale as Christian Bale.
Scott Baio.
Christian Bale as Batman.
Can we get Scott Baio instead of the
I would rather see Scott Baio as Batman than I would Christian Bale.
I mean, that's kind of the issue with any of the Batman movies. The pull, once you take it out of the comics where you can actually see inside the mind of Batman, you really can't play him up as a very interesting character. I mean, he kind of comes, he comes in, he beats people up, he disappears. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And, now Michael Keaton did a pretty good job, I think, back in the
hands
late
down
80s,
the best
early
Batman
90s.
that has been portrayed on film, in my opinion.
Absolutely. There's no one more intense heretofore than.
Absolutely.
And I'm really kind of scared to see what happens with the whole Batman Superman movie.
And Christian Bale, let me be fair, Christian Bale is a wonderful actor. He really is. But it's just the way he's so good looking. and I hate him for it. And I didn't like Batman's voice. I didn't think Batman sounded cool like this. I just thought it was too over the top, I thought. And
I think the best Batman of all time is Kevin Conroy. That's me.
I
understand film, but in general, I love Kevin Conroy.
See, I'm a big Val Kilmer fan.
Val Kilmer. I've got to get up, guys. I'm sorry.
We get Val Kilmer now, where he's like 500 pounds.
Yeah,
be Batman.
Have you seen that photo of Val Kilmer where he's a lot bigger now, and he's like looking back over his shoulder?
He's got like 4 chins.
The caption on it says, "Hey guys, remember when I was Batman?"
Unfortunately,
remember when the bat suit had nipples on it?
That was the only thing worse than Val Kilmer in that movie was the nipples on the bat suit.
So it wasn't Clooney. It was Val Kilmer.
Clooney.
Didn't he have him on the?
I don't think Val Kilmer did. I don't think Val Kilmer had him.
Oh, so there was a redeeming grace to Batman Forever. Okay.
Yeah. Well, in as much as it didn't have nipples on the Batman suit.
That was Batman.
Bruckheimer. It was the one Bruckheimer did.
I thought Schumacher did it.
Schumacher. Excuse me.
And I hate him for it.
Yeah, it's tough, man. What about other comic book movies? Yeah, you a big fan of any other comic movies?
Of course, you can't talk about comic movies without talking about Watchmen. That was
hands down my favorite comic book movie ever made. Watchmen.
Probably.
And I'm a big Alan Moore fan. Say what you will about Alan Moore. I know he rubs people the wrong way, but as far as comic goes, man, he's up there in the top of my list with Vaughn and Ennis and Bendis, and I mean he's right up there. Alan Moore is a wonderful writer. Say what you will about him personally, but of course he had literally nothing to do with the film. He wanted nothing to do with the film, from what I understand. But the Watchmen series, the original, the 12 runs, actually, it's not even original. That's the only thing that's ever been done. Watchmen.
Well, they did the before Watchmen series. I think it's still going on, as a matter of fact.
I'm not familiar with that. I never heard anything about that. But I put the original 12 books, the Watchmen series, is probably one of my all-time favorite comic book series. And the movie, Zack Snyder helming that movie it's wonderful. You can't beat it.
He was very faithful to it. And Alan Moore doesn't get on my nerves. Grant Morrison gets on my nerves, but Alan Moore doesn't get on my nerves.
And as far as Alan Moore goes, too, he actually it's my second favorite comic book movie of all time, V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was incredible.
Absolutely, V for Vendetta is wonderful. And again, I don't think he had anything to do with the movie. And it wasn't by they excluded him. He was just like, meh, I don't want anything to do with that. Meh.
Well, I mean, that started way back. I mean, even with, of course, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen doesn't even really count as an Alan Moore movie. I mean, they basically.
Yeah, that was. It wasn't.
It was fun in an awkward way.
No, it wasn't fun.
It was a fun movie.
It was.
It had absolutely nothing in common with the comic other than the characters, but it was incredible. I mean, I own the thing. I can't, I won't lie about that.
Right on. So, Kane, are you reading anything currently aside from Hellboy, of course?
Hellboy, BPRD. I'm one of those guys that'll basically hang out here for 45 minutes and buy one comic.
Right. I did the same thing, man. Yeah.
So anything Chris Bacalo draws, I'll buy.
What's some of the stuff he's worked on?
The last thing that I saw was one of the X-Men titles, which, out of the 50, I can't remember which one it was, but it was, the artwork was incredible as well. I mean, that's what draws me to a comic. I draw myself, and so the artwork more than this, unless it's someone like Alan Moore or if Mike Mignola were to write something. The Hellboy and Hell stuff is real cool now. But again, I'm beating the dead horse with Hellboy. So.
Actually, clearly a big Hellboy fan.
I want to pin you two against each other really fast. We've recently.
My money's on Kane.
Mine too.
I mean, Ivan punches dragons.
Ivan. Okay.
I want to put you two against each other really fast. We recently did our super duper battle bracket with comics versus video games versus slashers versus action movies. And it's great. Yeah, check it out. That'll be episode 8 and 9 of the Burg Nerds.
Yeah, we
podcast.
did it in 2 parts. It was in celebration of the NCAA, bracket.
Right.
We put together our own bracket, pitting all the ones that he said against each other in
so you actually made brackets interesting. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally, somebody did that. Yeah.
For once, college sports are interesting.
So I want to put you two together against each other really fast. Ivan, huge Deadpool fan. You're a huge Hellboy fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Deadpool did not make our bracket. Hellboy did. And he actually, in the first round, defeated Batman.
And I want to go ahead and say for the record that I was supporting Hellboy all the way. I really was.
And I like how you think.
And his
really,
one big fist.
Really quick, if the bracket came down to Hellboy and Miyagi, who would win?
Mr. Miyagi.
Okay.
Mr. Miyagi. So, I want you two to give me reasons why your guy would defeat the other one. Ivan, go. Deadpool over Hellboy. And then when he's done, Hellboy
I'm going to go ahead
Deadpool.
and tell you, Ivan, right now, the fact that Deadpool's a smartass is not going to matter here. I know you love that about him, but I mean, let's face it, it's not going to do much good.
Fight.
I didn't plan on using that smartass thing anyway, but before I give my reason, I'm just going to... Your name's Kane, right?
Right.
I'll take the part of Abel here and I'll die.
Nice.
Someone find me a rock.
I'll go with he has a intimate relationship with death. So he won't die.
Okay. I've got 2 things. For one, Hellboy is the beast of the apocalypse, and 2, Deadpool was created by Rob Liefeld. Therefore, your argument's invalid.
Actually,
I'll give you that one.
There's actually 3 things to remember about Hellboy. The one that you forgot is he has a really big fist.
He has a huge fist. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
He has the red right hand. So.
Right.
Hey, Jeremy, don't forget the gun.
He has a really big fist that holds a really, really big gun. And that's these guys are probably staring at me blankly, but that's kind of a callback to our last 2 episodes.
That's how he beat Batman.
He did.
With a really big gun?
With the really big fist.
And the really big fist. Oh, okay.
I mean, Jeremy made like a really good argument involving his really big fist and gun.
Hellboy went out in the next round against Hulk, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he got a bigger fist.
Okay.
He has
2 of them.
Yeah,
See?
but I made the argument that
That's what I said. I said he has 2 big fists.
Hear me out, Ivan. Hear me out. If you could kind of move your locks of gold away from your ears so you can hear me for a second. 2 big fists is that's too much. That's one too many. I mean, who has 2 big fists? Who sits around and does that? I mean, honestly.
The images that are going through my head right now are... I'm going to have to call my therapist. I've got her on speed dial, so it's okay.
Oh, nice.
So
maybe we can get them in on the conversation.
So, Ivan, that's your argument, is that Deadpool is really in touch with death?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make him good at dying?
No, because I think it was Thanos cursed him with immortality.
I was going to say, he can't be killed.
He can never see her again, is what it's supposed to be.
Well, here's the thing. If he can't be killed, that doesn't mean, like, he can't be stopped.
Yeah.
Just because he can't be killed.
Moon Knight, the character Moon Knight, is one of the only people that actually stopped him.
I'm not a Moon Knight fan.
I'm not really either. I just know he did it.
Fair enough.
They were trying to make Moon Knight fans. It apparently didn't work.
Ivan, you failed in spectacular. You failed spectacular today. You failed to make me want to read Deadpool, and you failed to provide any kind of argument of why he's going to beat Hellboy.
I don't know.
I feel like Kane is about to verbally slaughter you. Kane, tell me why. Kane, tell me why Hellboy is going to beat the dog shit out of,
Well, I mean, again,
out of Deadpool.
I pulled the trump card on him, Jay. I said Hellboy. Yeah, I say okay. I mean, again, he's the prophesied beast of the apocalypse. It's basically his destiny to destroy the world, and he's chosen not to. He's gone against everything from Lovecraft ripoffs to a chimpanzee with a gun.
And he loves kittens.
And he loves kittens. Well, yeah, he does love kittens and nachos.
And pancakes are better than chimichangas any day.
Man.
Oh
Yeah, I'll give him that.
I owe my addiction to IHOP to Mike Mignola.
There you go.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Do you ever go to IHOP dressed as Hellboy?
Give me a tall stack. Unfortunately, with this forehead, I look like him all the time.
So in true super duper battle bracket fashion, we're gonna go to the judges on this. Jordan, who's got your vote?
I'll say Hellboy on this one, actually.
Eddie?
I'm a minimalist, so I'm gonna go with Deadpool.
You would.
I'm gonna go with reality in this situation for what that's worth.
Because it's all steeped in reality.
Yeah, Hellboy.
Hellboy. I got to go with Hellboy. Ivan, you are the weakest link.
That was great.
It was a valiant effort, Ivan. I just well,
good game.
Yeah. So
I think it's going to wrap up the Ivan and Kane station, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you very much.
joining
very
us.
well. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right, guys. I think it's going to do it for us for the what we're now dubbing the Moonlight Sessions. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Lee.
I'm Eddie.
I'm Jordan. This is a fun day. Had a lot of good time.
All right, guys. We're going to call it a day.
Thank you, Moonlight.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows